is me, Julia at Demello.
I am introvert Q Amador.
I am Christine May Murillo, and welcome to our vlog. So let us first know what is the history of solar energy and when were solar panels invented. Through solar energy has found a dynamic and established rules in today's clean energy economy. And there's a long history behind photovoltaics, PV, that brought the concept of solar energy to fruition. With the way the cost of solar has plummeted in the past decade, it's easy to forget that going solar had a complete different meaning even just 15 years ago. So let's go back a few centuries of the origins of solar PV and explore the history of solar energy and silicon solar technology. When was the solar energy first used? In theory, solar energy was used by humans as early as 7th century BC, when history tells us that humans used sunlight to light fires with magnifying glass materials. Later in 3rd century BC, the Greeks and Romans were known to harness solar power with mirrors to light churches for religious ceremonies. These mirrors became a normalized tool referred to as burning mirrors. China's civilization documented the use of mirrors for the same purpose later in 20 AD. When were solar panels invented? In 1873, Willow B. Smith discovered that selenium had product conductive potential, leading to William Greeley Adams and Richard Evanday's 1876 discovery that selenium creates electricity when exposed to sunlight. A few years later, in 1883, Charles Fritz actually produced the first solar cells made from selenium wafers, the reason some historians credits Fritz with the actual invention of solar cells. However, solar cells as we know them today are made with silicon, not selenium. Therefore, some consider the true invention of solar panels to be tied to Darrell Chapin, Calvin Fuller, and Gerald Person's creation of the silicon photovoltaic PV cell at Bell Labs in 1954. Many argue that the event marks the true invention of PV technology because it was the first instance of a solar technology that could actually power an electric device for several hours of a day. The first ever silicon solar cell could convert sunlight at 4% efficiency, less than a quarter of what modern cells are capable of.
Benefit that we could get.
Unlike traditional energy sources, when PV solar panels create electricity, they don't emit harmful greenhouse gases, pollute groundwater, or deplete any natural resources. In addition, you help protect the planet by cutting back on your dependence on non-renewable energy. Cut your carbon footprint. Solar photovoltaic systems are environmentally friendly, using sunlight to produce zero carbon electricity. And the majority of solar PV panels are made using silicon, which comes from sand, one of the Earth's most plentiful natural resources. Reduce your energy bills. The electricity generated by your system is completely free for you to use. A typical PV system produces around 50% of the electricity a household uses in a year, so your energy costs will be greatly reduced. Any electricity that you use will be totally free when your system is generating power, meaning you will only need to pay for any electricity that you use when the panels are not producing electric. For example, in the evenings and at night. Limit your reliance on electricity suppliers. It is no secret that the price of energy has risen steeply in recent years, and with a diminishing supply of natural fossil fuels and growing demand worldwide, this trend is only set to continue. Installing a solar PV system will reduce your dependency on grid-supplied electricity and the large commercial energy companies, while minimizing the impact of rising energy prices in the years to come. Long system life and minimum maintenance. Solar PV is a tried and tested technology that was being used on satellites over 50 years ago. Since the 1990s, with improvements in technology and lower prices, its popularity has seen massive growth. With a proven track record, solar PV systems are very reliable and require little maintenance as they have no moving parts. Most panels are guaranteed by the manufacturers with a cell warranty of 20 to 25 years, and this, coupled with the long expected lifetime of the overall solar PV system, means that your installation is very likely to be providing you with free energy for at least 25 years.
We also had an
interview with one of the users of these solar photovoltaic panels. And according to her,
Due to some reason, the interviewee didn't allow us to take a video of her. She then suggested just a voice record instead.
Good afternoon, I'm Emma Lucena.
How will you describe your living now that you're having a solar technology as one of the sources of electricity? And how will you compare it to your living before that you haven't owned one yet?
Ngayon, after namin magkaroon ng solar, di na ako nahirapan sa buwan-buwan na bayarin namin dahil nabawasan na. Mas maganda din ngayon kasi dahil sa solar, di na kami nawala ng kuryente. Kahit brownout sa iba, kami may kuryente pa rin dahil sa solar.
Can you share the benefits that you are actually getting from having a solar power?
Mas bumaba na ang bayarin ngayon kaysa dati. Kasi dati umaabot kami ng 18,000 plus. Kapag ang dalawang aircon bukas 24/7, pero ngayon nasa 5K na lang siya.
Thank you.
Welcome!
there are many reasons to install solar photovoltaic electricity, from reducing your carbon footprint as well as your annual electricity bills to minimizing the impact of ever-increasing energy costs. What's more, solar PV panels and systems are easy to fit, guaranteed to last, and require minimal maintenance.
The advantages and disadvantages of a solar energy. So specifically, the photovoltaic solar energy. So let's begin first with the advantages of a solar energy. So we have here, it is a renewable energy source. So it means that it is accessible as long as there is the heat of the sunlight. Second, it reduces electricity bills. So unlike other energy sources, you have to pay bills or electric bills monthly. So with the use of solar energy, you don't need to pay for that. That is basically for the advantage of the solar energy. Now, let's proceed to the disadvantage of the solar energy. So first things first, of course, it is costly. Well, as we all know, solar energy is really expensive, so only those who have extra money can buy a solar energy. So that's the first disadvantage of a solar energy. Another thing is that it is weather dependent. As we all know, solar energy, of course, it only depending on the sunlight or the heat of the sun. So if there's no sunlight, there's no electricity. So this is another disadvantage of the solar energy. And lastly, for the disadvantages of a solar energy, it actually uses a lot of spaces. So if your house is just a normal house, well, magsursiko ka na lang dahil. So ganon. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.
And that's all.
Babush!